Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about changing the coolant and also checking a thermostat gasket on this 2014 CBR650F. So first we'll orient ourselves a little bit here. This of course is the radiator, and the first step is going to be paying attention to that cap. Of course you're going to need to remove the fairings to do any of this, so start there. I have a video on that. This is the coolant reserve tank, so that's another piece we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And then the other important components are here on the side of the radiator is the air bleed hole that's going to come in handy at the end, and then down here kind of in front and above the oil filter, which you should be acquainted with, is the water pump. And this bolt right here is actually the water pump drain bolt, so that's where we're going to be draining the majority of the coolant. And moving forward a little bit here, so inside here is the thermostat. You can actually see a little bit of green fluid right here. This is where I'm having a little bit of a leak on this O-ring. So I'm going to go a little step beyond the normal coolant change in order to address that O-ring. I noticed that this is something that over the winter it wouldn't leak, and then I would go for a ride and I'd bring it back, and then a couple days later I'd notice a couple drops of green fluid on my garage floor, and I traced it here, and we're going to address that today. So we don't need anything too fancy to get this job done. If you don't have the service manual, I'm going to be going over all the steps, and I'll also show a couple of shots of the inside, so feel free to pause over the inside of that manual so that you can see. We're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. We are going to need an Allen key for the oil drain bolt. This is a H5 or whatever that means. For the actual thermostat gasket, we need an 8mm socket, and that's going to be hooked up to this extension here so that we can reach deep without taking off more of the hardware. This is the thermostat gasket, so for me I need that. But then if you're just doing a regular coolant change, this is also the component. This is the sort of washer on the coolant drain bolt, so they recommend that you get a new one for each change. Torque wrench. We're going to be using this as a siphon hose for the reserve tank because I don't feel like taking the exhaust off to drain that. And then you just need a drain pan and a coolant of your choice. First step here is going to be removing the radiator cap, which has a set screw on it that you remove first before turning that off. And then after that, we are going to go down to the water pump drain bolt and release the coolant from there. So this is the set screw we need to loosen, and then once that's backed off, we can just open up our cap, see our delicious green coolant. Go ahead and loosen up our drain bolt, and then that'll come out into our pan. Interesting flow pattern here. So you can see here the little crush washer, and that's what we're going to replace here. Now the next step is funny. It says to disconnect the siphon hose from the reserve tank in order to drain the coolant that's in the reserve tank and, you know, clear the system more, which definitely makes sense. We want to get as much of the old coolant out as possible while we're spending the time here. But it's actually really difficult to access, and if you flip a few pages forward in the manual, you'll see how this is laid out. And it's number 5 here that they're talking about, the siphon hose. And you can see the drain hose if you look from under the bike, but really this is very difficult to see, and you need to remove the exhaust, at least if you have the stock one, because the catalytic converter is just really blocking that entire area. So rather than deal with that, what I'm going to do is just remove the cap here and siphon out what I can from here, and then really call it a day. This is actually the first time I've changed my coolant ever. I have a little over 20,000 miles on this bike. Looks like there's a couple shavings of metal in there. It's hard to tell. I don't really clean this out thoroughly between oil changes, so there's also some oil contamination in there. But anyway, what I'm going to do next is remove the cap to the reservoir here, and then I'm going to pause this video for a little bit as I use my mouth to siphon this into here. cool, whatever. It's good enough for me. We're also gonna see what comes out of the thermostat, so might be a little extra. Next step in the manual is to remove the air bleed bolt and also to inspect the little O-ring in here, but we don't need to replace it. So I was surprised by a large amount of coolant that came out of that, so get ready for that. And this is honestly part of the fun of having a paper service manual, is you get to memorialize all of your hard work. At this point, for a normal coolant change, you're all set and you're just going to want to button it back up, fill it up, and then follow the air draining procedures that we'll get into later in this video, so just skip ahead if this is where you're stopping. Thermostat cover has 2 bolts. There's one, and the other's on the other side. So we're going to reach in and we can just barely work around this fitting and up through here to loosen those up. Never fail to make a giant mess when changing fluids. So this hose is fairly rigid, and I'm probably going to take this clip off to give me some more flexibility here, but you can see that the thermostat's kind of falling out, and this is the seal that I need to address up there. So I was hoping to see an obvious defect in this ring. It's not perfect, but it was obviously leaking, so we're going to swap it out. There is also a procedure to inspect the function of the thermostat itself, but since I don't suspect there's a problem, I'm not going to take the time to do this, but here it is in case you're interested in doing that. The gasket doesn't look to be sided, so I think it could go on either way. And then when we install the thermostat back on, we do so with this air bleed hole facing up, and there are some grooves in the inside of the housing that make it so you can't really put it any other way. As long as that's up, it'll fit in. So I'm going to put that back in, and then the bolts go in at 9 foot-pounds or 12 Newton meters of torque. Here we are back inside. It only fits one way. I actually didn't end up taking this hose off. I just kind of moved it and more coolant came out, so I'm going to button it back up. If you don't have a torque wrench, 9 foot-pounds is really very little, so they're not calling for very much torque here at all. I'm now going to reinstall the water pump drain bolt, and that's going to be at 10 foot-pounds or 13 Newton meters. And I also put the bike up on this block to make it level before filling up with coolant. I will now be refilling the coolant through the radiator, and I'm going to fill it up until coolant starts to come out of that bleed hole, at which point I'm going to install that bolt to this ridiculously low torque, which I can't measure that low, so I guess just screw it in not too tight. And then once that's on, continue filling up, bleed using this protocol here, and then fill up the reserve tank. So just as an FYI, the radiator coolant is scheduled for replacement at 24,000 miles, and note 4 says replace every 2 years or at 24,000 miles, and it requires mechanical skill. Okay, well, hasn't been 2 years, it's been 6 years for me, but everything's been fine, so no problems. I have no idea how much of the coolant I actually drained, but before doing this, I looked up this. So the overall coolant capacity is about 2.5 liters. So that's why I bought 3 of these, but I'll let you know how much I actually get into it as I start pouring in. Oh my God, it's blue. I like that this is blue, but I'm gonna feel a little salty if it has some green contamination. Nah, I think I got most of it out, especially with that. Oh, here we go. So it took less than 1 bottle, in order to get it coming out of this spot, so I'm gonna cap that up and then keep filling. So some may say that it would be good to flush this with distilled water, and I kind of thought about doing that, but then when I realized I wasn't gonna go the full exhaust pulling route, etc., I just decided to do this, and I'm okay with that. So you can make your own decisions. So that was about 700 mils until I got to that point, and then we're going to keep filling this up until it goes to the neck. And this was just, in fact, 2.5 liters, so we're going to go ahead and put our cap back on and tighten up that set screw. And there we are. Before we fill the reserve tank, we are going to bleed air from the system following this protocol. So shift the transmission into neutral, start the engine, let it idle for 2 to 3 minutes, snap the throttle 3 or 4 times to bleed air, stop, and add coolant to the filler neck if necessary. All right. Alright, so it went down just a little bit, and I'll top that off. I just filled up the reserve tank. I didn't have a nice little funnel available, so I used the ancient trick of tinfoil funnel right there. So there's a little piece of insider info for you. So I have about 12 ounces left of this coolant after having used or bought 3 bottles, so I think I basically got it all. And that wraps it up. I'm going to take it for a ride and check the coolant levels again after, and then keep a close eye, especially where I did that thermostat gasket, but hopefully that fixed our little issue here. So thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.